movement was not only a political and economic issue, but also an issue of morals. More and more whites started seeing the African American slaves as more than just property, but as people, perhaps not equal to the whites, but still people. And they believed these people should be free, like any other white man or woman of the time. The Civil War was caused by the different ideals between abolitionists and preservers of slavery. Though abolitionism first became a force to be dealt with in the 19th century, the first case was in England, almost 100 years ago. The year was 1772. The place was James Somerset, a slave belonging to a customs officer, was bound for a colony in Jamaica, when his godparents, who happened to be on the same ship, took him to court to free him. After a long court hearing, the decision was that James was free, and that England does not recognize the existence of slavery, therefore making it illegal. This spurred on colonial thinkers of the Enlightenment, creating the first colonial abolitionists. The Somerset case was heard about in the American colonies. Though it did not apply to the colonies, it got the people thinking about their principles of religion and about the rights of all people. Quakers and other evangelist thinkers deemed slavery as un-Christian, as they deemed it violated the rights of all men, including slaves, who were then set free. The movement was only in few towns and colonies, but after the American Revolution, it started to spread throughout all of the northern states. Sectionalism was emerging, responding to the needs of each state, and abolitionists thought slaves were completely unnecessary. There were many acts of the United States to abolish slavery, but the first was in 1787, known as the Northwest Ordinance. This ordinance ensured that slavery was prohibited in all territories northwest of the Ohio River, which led to all states in the North eventually emancipating all slaves in the area. While Northerners supported it, Southerners argued that it would cripple the foreign commerce of America. One of many arguments leading to the Civil War, and it increased sectionalism, which separated the North and South with a distinct line. Uncle Tom's Cabin was a big factor of the Civil War. With words, it fueled the abolitionist rage and angered the South. The view that abolitionists had of slavery was one of white slave owners whipping slaves while they worked in the harsh sun. As more people read, the more people abhorred slavery. The number of abolitionists increased drastically. Southerners said that the facts in the book were not true, and that most slaves were well-fed and looked after. Legend has it that when Abraham Lincoln met the author, Harriet Beecher Stowe, he said, "So you're the little woman who wrote the book that started this great war." And in a way, it was true. She separated the South and the North with the book, made them mad at each other, and let them fight over who was right. The Kansas-Nebraska Act. It said that the states Kansas and Nebraska would decide to have or not have slavery by popular sovereignty, or decision by the people. Abolitionists flocked to these states, increasing the number drastically. Battles over slavery exploded all over the state, leading to the nickname of Bloody Kansas. It was a series of violent events involving anti-slavery free staters and pro-slavery border ruffian elements, fighting over the nature of the state, free or slave. This further strained the relations between the North and South, one of the final straws leading up to the Civil War. The growth of the abolitionist movement was what separated the North and the South. As the cause of abolition grew, so did the tension, sparking the Civil War. Slavery was the cause of the growing number of abolitionists, but the number of people who thought all should be free are who started the war and ended it.